Hello and welcome to episode 11. We are Control Alt Record. My name is Chris, and joining you for our final episode for 2017 is Michael and Brett. In today's episode, we're going to chat about Warframe, the most recent Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi. Who's crunching shit?
Sorry.
Sorry. God. And we'll finish up with the quiz. So if you do like the show, as always, jump on to iTunes, give us a rating, give us a review, and also check out our channels on Facebook and Twitter, as well as YouTube. You can also find the links and search functions for those things in the description of this episode.
What?
Yep.
That sentence just drove into a brick wall. Okay.
Yep, that's how that happens.
You're listening to Control Alt Record.
Oh, why that go so quiet?
We got to hear it
You're
again.
listening to Control Alt Record.
Sorry, I'll edit that. Will you though? I bet you won't.
No,
I will. I'm professional.
Well, but then all that's going to happen is when you sort of say, I'll edit that, and Michael goes, will you? That's just not going to make any sense if you actually edit it. So unless you edit
I'll leave
it
it in then. I'll leave it in.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought I'd save
All right,
Brett some
so
time.
let's get into a bit of news before we get into the rest of the show. So point number one that we had this week, have you guys heard of a company that's producing a augmented reality headset called Magic Leap?
No.
Yes.
I think that was a no and a yes. So yes, it was. Okay. So Magic Leap. Brett, you have heard of this. Have you heard what's been announced today?
They got some sort of AR thing, don't they?
Yeah, good job. So back in 2014, a company called Magic Leap had raised funds through multiple different sources in 2014. It raised about $542 million for funding of this product. One of those sources was actually Google. And about the time, over the course of the following years, actually came into an estimated value of about $2 billion. So since then, and over the last couple of years, they've also received a lot of ridicule and just thoughts and from critics and the general public that they're basically failing in what they're actually trying to achieve. But as of today, they have now announced that in early 2018, there will be the Magic Leap 1, which will be the Creator Edition, releasing early next year. Price at this point has not been stated. So this is sort of the first real sort of piece of information that's come out for these guys after the last sort of 3 years. So be interesting to see what that comes out with for next year. So it is another AR headset.
Is it a standalone? Oh, sorry, you're about to tell us what it is.
No, it's just that was actually glad you kind of jumped in there because that was about it for that. I was just going to say it's an AR sort of headset. So trying to compete, I would imagine, what's Microsoft's one? What's that? I've already forgotten what that's called.
Yeah. So,
yeah, you know, the Microsoft one.
No one cares anymore.
Yeah, because the let's cost $5,000 to get it in developers' hands one.
Is that the one with they showed like Minecraft on a table or whatever, and it was all augmented reality?
Yes, that's the one. It's that one. So this is something that's really has been this other one, Magic Leap, has been around for a couple of years, but has only really ever released demo type videos and not many of them. So which is why there was always speculation that was all just fake and bullshit essentially. But now next year they're actually releasing a creative product. So it could be interesting to see what next year brings with them.
What's the difference between this one and all the other weird?
You're lagging really badly there, Michael.
Oh, no.
You were sounding really good before the show, lagging out.
Oh, that's so annoying. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, you actually sound fine now.
Oh, okay. Well, what I said was, how's this different to the other things?
And we're losing you again. So I think what you're trying to say is, how's this different to the other ones? No idea. It's just augmented reality. It'll be their own sort of user interface.
Well researched then.
Well, there's not a lot of information that's actually come out about this. They have updated their website, Magic Leap, to provide a little bit more info, but it's still very quite vague and limited in what's actually being provided to the public at this point. So still yet to see. And I think we won't know more until next year.
It's the HoloLens is the Microsoft thing.
Yes, that's the HoloLens. That's right. So there is some prototype images that have been released as to what the Magic Leap might look like. The only thing, it looks quite. It looks very different to the HoloLens, where the HoloLens is just like one sort of like lens. It's like from to cover the sort of the eyes. This one's broken up into two different lenses, and really, how would you describe this? It really looks like like really sort of outback mechanical sort of goggles that you might sort of find in like really sort of underway sort of outback
like
places.
steampunk type things.
Steampunk type things, but they look very shiny essentially. But they have that sort of separate lens type of look where it's sort of like popping out. So that's kind of what it looks like at this point. But of course, the disclaimer is that it's always subject to change. But
now, is it like it's just hardware? It's just a headset.
yes,
So it's not like. So you could use any VR software on it.
it's not VR, it's AR. So what it is with the augmented reality, it's applying sort of like an interface on top of the actual world. So it's not virtual reality, it's augmented. But yeah, now it does come with, it doesn't appear to be completely wireless. There seems to be like a sort of a circular device that's actually connected to it via a cable that you would actually sort of attach to your belt or something like that. So it's sort of like this, it's not a huge device. Looks like it would sort of fit in the palm of your hand. And then there is also a remote control that comes with it. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Like I like this type of thing. So I'm very interested to see where this comes out and what happens next year with it. So also that came out today from Cloud Imperium Games. They've released a short teaser trailer for their upcoming game, Squadron 42, which is a single-player spin-off from their main project, which is Star Citizen. So that's actually one that Mark Hamill is also involved in. So he's got a bit of a CGI character that he is playing in it. So they have just released that, and they've also updated their website with more information that's coming out for Squadron 42, as well as you can now sign up to, if you are interested in this company as well as their games, there is a newsletter that you can now sign up for further information regarding upcoming info for Squadron 42.
Chris.
So that's something that unfortunately Grax would have, if he was here. Actually, no, well, you as well, Brett, we're very interested in. But as always, there's
any ETAs or any updates, or is it just
Chris? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So what is this a standalone game for? From what?
So Cloud Imperium Games is the developer of Star Citizen.
Oh, that's the scam one, right? The one that isn't finished?
that's it.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
One.
Oh, Scam right. Citizen.
Michael, did you know they've raised $200 billion now?
And they haven't even made a game. That's amazing.
I like how their success is measured by how much money they've taken off people.
Yeah, I love how Grax is like... He's got the honor of playing some. It's not even a beta. It's like he can fly a ship around an asteroid and then get off it and then get teleported somewhere else because it doesn't even work properly. And you guys are like, "How did you get into that?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I may have paid about $1,000 into the game." I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, you have to spend a lot of money.
So it is a game that is
to do
highly in development at the moment. Oh, well, there's nothing you can do in it. So it's an alpha version of its development at the moment. So there is a few people around, probably a couple thousand now people around the world that are in there as alpha testers, providing their sort of feedback to Cloud Imperium for the further development of it.
So how do they feel about the fact, how do these people feel about the fact that, they haven't even finished the game that they've taken thousands of dollars off them from, and now they're, paying millions of dollars to get Mark Hamill to do voices for another game they'll never finish? Are people not annoyed about this?
Well, no, it's a game in development. So people who are pledging their money, if you pledge your money to this game,
they haven't finished the other one yet. So then now they're going to do another one they won't finish.
Okay. No, so there was all in development. They've got teams working on Star Citizen. They've got teams working on Squadron 42, all side by side. Now, if you are someone that does put money towards this game and you are not aware that this is a game that is in development and you're paying for the development of this game, if you're not aware of that, and when you do, then shame on you. I think just it is fully aware and it's fully known that this is a game that you're paying for development and to produce it. So that's what people are paying.
The only thing that kind of like annoys me with it is like they're constantly going, check out these new ships, more ships. Like, we've got 5 new ships and we've got new planets. And it's like, we've got new stuff, new this, new that. It's like just get what you've got and make
Right,
that
so
actually work.
make
Before
a
you're
game.
constantly jumping ahead to bring out new stuff. Just
So
anything,
currently-
just something you can do in the game.
Yeah, so currently one of the biggest things that's coming out for Star Citizen is their Alpha 3.0, which is the version 3, where they're going to add a lot more content for people to continue to test and play, give them something to do. So yes, there is a lot of bug fixing and code fixing that they're trying to work on at the moment. Now, people their employees that they have are skilled in actually fixing those bugs, but they've got people who aren't skilled in fixing bugs that require other work to do. So they're going to continue to develop concept art and work on other parts of the game for future, because there'll be 3.1, 3.2, and so on and so on. So there'll be people focused on those future iterations. So one
You're
of the
just assuming all this, Chris. You don't know what the structure of the company is. You're just making stuff up now.
it's all public. It's all public, so it's not difficult to find
all
out.
the different positions and what everyone's doing and everything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can actually go to their website and go to like their, if they've obviously got careers that are offering, they can go to those, have a look on what's going on. But every week they update the public with a weekly update, and they tell people what's going on. So it's completely open. Now, I'm sure there will be some degree of secrecy to what's behind the scenes going on. I don't doubt that. I'm not an idiot. But this is the situation of the game, and they're very upfront about what
But
it
you know
is.
you know the exact ins and outs of their company, though, by the sounds of it.
I wouldn't say the exact.
You're like, this guy does this. Everyone's doing their different jobs.
I couldn't tell you their names.
I was just saying, it
Oh
sounds like
my
you're speculating.
god, this is crazy. They're wasting so much money. Okay, so they haven't even got this game done. Squadron 42 has Mark Hamill, Gary Oldman, and Gillian Anderson. That's a lady from X-Files. Gary Oldman and Mark. They are just flushing Grax's money down the toilet, and they will never finish any of these. This is insane. This is insane.
No, but it's like Squadron 42 is part of Star Citizen. Like it's just like it's like the single player.
They're using elements that they've created from Star Citizen.
Well, why are they calling it? Why are they calling it a different game then? Why don't they just call it?
Because the Star Citizen is the multiplayer, and Squadron 42 is an episodic single player campaign.
Oh, right. And I'm assuming you have to pay separately for them? You have to pay separately for the experiences, I'm assuming?
No,
Yeah.
no.
Oh.
No, you sure? You don't say sure about it.
Because you have to actually purchase even the minimum purchase of a game package, which for Star Citizen includes Squadron.
You have to get a mortgage out to be able to afford that package, but
it's
once you
minimum
have purchased a package.
$45 is the cheapest.
Oh, yeah. Pretty expensive to be able to bug test an alpha, but brilliant.
Basically, like it's more like it's closer to like it's not early access really. It's closer to like a Kickstarter where you're like giving them money to make something.
It's still way before early access, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So the reason why I think people go, scam Citizen, and get their knickers in a knot about it,
Scam
is
Citizen, that's a good
because this is sort of a company. It's because this is sort of a company that has, from day one, been very open with the development. So people see the delays and they see what's going on and the issues that they're having. And then people start going, it's never going to happen. But when you look at sort of the life of a development of such a large scale game, they're even greater than where Star Citizen's at the moment. So it's just because we have visibility and transparency, people are all like, it's a scam because, whatever. And that's all that is. And that's my view anyway.
Well explained that was. So hang on. So you're telling me, okay, so this is your logic. So people give money over and then nothing happens and it takes forever because they're really transparent. They go, hey, look, we haven't really done anything yet, but thanks for the money. And then people say, well, that's a scam. And you go, no, it's not a scam because, look, they've said they haven't done anything yet. It's transparent.
No, they're
Therefore,
developing the game. And so right now, one of the biggest sort of changes that is starting to speed up the development process is they've recoded their actual game launcher. So when you first open it up, and what they can actually do is implement fixes on a daily basis, which is what they're doing. And it's the community surrounding this is sort of showing all the differences. They're actually the patch notes gets released, and then the public who are in there testing it are actually starting to see improvements in the netcode and all that. And this is just the general public giving that feedback.
I think the problem is, from what I've read, is like every time they fix a bug, they create two. So they're just like it's just like this. They're in like a little bit of development hell because they just can't get on top of the bugs. They're just constantly making more.
No, they are. Yeah, okay, that does happen. But when you look at what they do every week is they release a report on the bugs that they had from previous to where they are now, and it is consistently going down. So now maybe some people might be skeptical with those reports, and it could just be rubbish. We'll never know. But the fact that they are releasing updates on a daily basis now with fixes. We are getting ever closer to what will be the full release. It takes time to develop the size that this is. So, I think there's a lot of people out there.
How much more money do they need to finish?
Well, who knows? Because that's the type of thing. Like that could be. They've always stated that if everyone were to pay for the $45 base package, they would be able to complete the game based on that. Now, people want to go above and beyond.
When you say everyone, you mean every person on the planet?
Well, they've already met what they need to finish the game. They just continue to expand it.
Right.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Look, fingers crossed that it's not and doesn't fall apart, but we'll see. PUBG, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, has officially released out of its early access today. And was it today, Brett?
It was the 20th, I think. So yesterday.
20th, so maybe yesterday. So in the last sort of 24 to 48 hours, give or take, it has officially come out of early access and is now on PC 1.0. So, Brett, I think you sort of mentioned just before the show that there's actually a new map that they've actually released with it. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah, there's a new, I think it's a desert-based map, which has been available on the test server for a while. I haven't tried it yet, but I think it's now available on the main servers. Well, I haven't actually checked that 100%. But I'm pretty sure that's the case. Mm-hmm. So the game has now doubled in size, doubled in content, essentially.
Well, it hasn't. Well, not really. There's got an extra map. It doubled in map quantity.
Doubled in maps. Yeah, double the amount of maps now. And you can get it on Xbox, which is apparently a buggy piece of shit mess.
What, Xbox? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, the Xbox One. I was watching a video of it, and it's like when you parachute in and stuff, none of the textures render fast enough because the Xbox isn't powerful.
I was actually taking a stab at the Xbox itself, not the game.
Oh, okay.
Being a buggy. Yeah, okay, over the head. It's also, you did mention that it's actually got a lot of mixed reviews since it's actually been released. Did you have a chance to read any of them?
Yeah, I was having a look at them, and I found it interesting because it's such a popular game, and I was just surprised to see that it actually does have a mixed reviews. A lot of people are citing, it's, as usual, it's like, I've got 500,000 of hours, yet I'm giving it a negative review. Yeah, but there seems to be having a problem with hackers, which is obviously a really annoying thing if you're trying to play fair and you're getting, aimbotted. Which are on the, hang on, so what else was there? Probably should have had this open before.
I thought you kind of knew it was coming.
Yeah, I did, and then I forgot because I was thinking about Star Citizen.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, so there's a problem as well with streamers. Apparently, this is what a lot of people are saying. If you shoot a streamer, you basically get banned. So I don't quite know.
What?
That seems like an oversimplification.
It seems, it's just like,
I imagine it would be something like this. So it would be that, if you had a gang of, if you had, I don't know the game very well. If you had like a squad of people or a guild or a clan, and the whole clan was watching a streamer and then just like ganged up on the streamer because you could see exactly what they were doing, that's probably slightly unfair.
Oh, so you mean that they're watching the streamer as they're playing?
Well, that's what I imagine. That's the only way you could just watch a streamer and then kill them. But it's like, well, it kind of is like, yeah, well, if you're going to stream this game, like, well, that would happen. I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of friend got banned for honking a horn near a streamer called Stone Mountain, and they called it harassment.
Oh yeah, no.
Apparently, you just can't. Apparently, if you go anywhere near streamers, you just get banned instantly. So that sounds really annoying.
Well, I mean, the whole honking thing is what people are doing is, they're jumping in like vehicles and driving around the streamer in circles, so making it difficult to actually kill, and just holding the finger down on the car horn. So all the viewers that are watching the streamer are just hearing this car horn just going off.
What if you don't know that it's a streamer though, and you still get banned for it? Like, that seems a bit crazy. I mean, there's a lot of people reporting that.
It seems a little
Like
bit,
just like
I don't know, a little.
just-
if it wasn't a streamer, why would you be sort of driving around them in circles, just keeping your
Because it's funny.
finger down on the horn?
Because you just decided to do it to someone, like some random person. It's funny.
some people do that.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. And there's also and also I mean hackers is a fair one. Like, maybe Bluehole should be doing more to stop hackers, because that does kind of completely ruin the game, ruin the experience.
They've got their money. Why do they care? They'll just continue to.
Well, I don't know. I think it's
hackers they ruin games, and they should be, I don't know, shot.
There's a reason that some guys like the game devs have gone mad due to the success.
They should be shot.
That's fine.
I saw today on Google
Because
Maybe a little extreme.
on
yeah,
on the Google what's the Google Play Store? Is it called Google Play Store?
yeah.
There's like an Android.
What's that Google Play Store?
There's like an Android ripoff of PUBG. It's called Knives Out. It looks exactly the same,
Right.
but it's like on Android, and it's got good
is it good?
reviews.
Okay, maybe I'll
there's-
go to that one.
Knives Out.
Knives out.
Okay.
Let's have a.
It's
There's also,
identical.
of course, all the clones start coming out. It's like Fortnite as well is another one.
There's so
Where-
many like
But-
continue about Fortnite. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say like Fortnite, which is made by Epic, and Epic are the ones who make the engine, the Unreal 4 engine.
That's
Bluehole.
weird, huh?
So they bought the engine off them, and then basically Bluehole just like, Epic just like copied their game. Went, yeah, we're going to make one of those, and then they sued them unsuccessfully, I think.
Who sued who?
Bluehole sued or is in the progress of suing Epic.
Right.
Because they it was a bit creepy because it was like their engine that they bought them off it, and then they went, yeah, by the way, we're making the same game.
Yeah.
And it's like that seems a bit. They're like, it's just coincidence that it's the same.
Yeah,
It's like, is it coincidence?
It's just a coincidence.
So
yeah.
but you're gonna get that. You're gonna get clones when you get a game that's that popular, and it's just gonna happen. They didn't invent the King of the Hill genre, so they can't really claim that that's theirs.
No, but I guess once the mechanics, I guess of the looting, the whole shrinking of the map and things like that. I think the only difference really Fortnite added to it is like you can actually construct buildings as you're actually playing. Seems to be the only difference.
I haven't played it. Apparently, it's really fun.
Yeah. Well, if it's anything like PUBG, which it is, it would be fun. So, but that's all the news that we have for you this episode. Moving on to our first point, Warframe. So this is actually a game that really Michael and myself have picked up out of nowhere, really, in the last sort of 2 weeks. But I think you originally picked it up and before myself, and you were talking about it, Michael.
Yeah,
what got you thinking about it and getting onto it?
Well, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I'm worried that I'm dropping out. Okay. Well, what happened is, right, I don't know if I explained my process of Destiny 2. Was I on that episode when I was talking about Destiny 2 where I got it and then it kept on crashing? Did I tell you that?
Look, maybe, but I don't have the best memory, so entirely
so anyway,
possible.
I guess what happened is, like, I think last week I had done a complete and utter format of my hard drive, brand new solid state hard drive, just done a completely fresh, clean, clear version of Windows, and everything was running spotless and lovely. And I thought, you know what, I'll try Destiny 2 again, because I uninstalled it because it kept crashing, and I thought, okay, I've got a new install here. And then I did install it, and then it took a while because of my internet. And then after 10 minutes of running perfectly, it just starts crashing again, and then it just starts crashing over and over again. I was like, and then I installed it because I was very annoyed. And then I don't know how, I just started researching, games like Destiny 2, because I was like, I do find that quite fun, but I can't deal with it crashing all the time. And so Warframe came up and just had, currently it's on overwhelmingly positive on Steam, and just everything, I watched a couple of videos, and I'd played it a few years ago and wasn't that impressed. And then just the reviews were positive. A lot of people seem to be jumping ship from Destiny 2 to Warframe. And that's how I got there. And I downloaded it, and it looks lovely, runs lovely. It's maybe got a bit more grinding than Destiny, a bit more variety perhaps than Destiny. Doesn't look as nice. I don't think the combat is as nice as Destiny, but I think it's definitely filling that void that Destiny seems to not be able to fill because it keeps crashing and it's unplayable for me. That's how I got there.
So yeah, so it's like it fills that void of actually being able to play a game rather than the actual individual.
It's a bit of an immersion rule in the game crashing every 5 minutes.
Well,
So,
it's annoying because I really do like the combat in Destiny 2, and I was starting to experience some of the issues with the end game in Destiny 2 where it doesn't really feel like the progression's very, very good. There's a lot of issue with the loot there, blah, 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 but nonetheless, it just crashes all the time. I've tried every single fix, and I was like, fuck you. And Warframe's good.
Yeah.
You like
So
it,
for
Chris?
those who may not, I think it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. I think first week I was playing it. I think I already put it in like 10 hours or something like that, and it just sort of disappeared. That time just disappeared so quickly and easily. But for those who may not be aware what Warframe is, it is actually a free to play.
Free to players.
Yeah. It is free to play. There you go. It is a third-person online action game that is set in sort of like a sci-fi futuristic world, I guess, or universe. You are a warframe, and what that is
Tenno.
some
You're a
sort
Tenno.
of well, they call it Tenno, but the frames sort of actually called warframes as well. They're referenced to.
It's actually quite the central conceit's quite similar to Destiny because you can't, like, you're brought back from the dead. Apparently, you're some ancient race that's been brought back from the dead to I don't know, right the wrongs of the universe. A bit like in Destiny, the Guardians are undead people.
Yes,
Dead.
those people.
Skeleton.
Yeah, them. So you are actually like a cybernetic space ninja, essentially. I don't actually know what maybe if I don't know if you're like a cyborg or if there's any sort of organic or human parts within you because you're just encased in this metal shell with all types of quite unique designs. The aim of the game is to, of course, level up your individual frame. You collect weapons. You level up your weapons. You've got melee weapons. You've got sort of special abilities depending on the type of frame that you have. And I think they're all kind of different with the skills that you have. And then you actually go out and just do some. The mission designs and goals are actually quite basic, I think. Go and kill X amount of people, and then your mission's done. Go and capture someone, go and assassinate someone, that type of thing. But during it, they do there's a lot of loot drops, so you can actually collect blueprints to other frames that you can unlock. And so there is very much a resource hunter-gatherer type mechanic to the game, which I personally enjoy.
It's different from, say, Destiny or Diablo, where you don't get, you don't drop the item doesn't drop. A blueprint might drop at the end of a mission, and then to make that item, you'll have to get all the required resources to actually build the item, so you don't get it straight away. And you can sort of speed up that process by using real world money to sort of speed up the process, but nearly everyone says that that's not worth doing. So, very interesting.
Yeah, so it does have the microtransaction element, which we are sort of for and against, depending on what it is you're purchasing. I haven't seen enough to believe that it is a pay-to-win model.
I've done, because I got like one of my login bonuses was I think 75% off platinum. So I decided to buy some because I felt like I'd already enjoyed the game enough to give them some money. And I bought a little bit of platinum, and I was watching a number of videos in terms of, okay, what should I actually spend my money on? And the vast majority of people said, well, don't bother buying warframes or weapons or anything like that. You will, most of the fun is actually collecting the parts to build those. So there's no real point buying them. They say, there's no point skipping them. Maybe consider a prime warframe, but a lot of people seem to be against that. most of the time people were suggesting that, you want to buy a little bit of money to unlock some of the colors, extra color ways for your Warframe to paint them different colors, and also extra slots for weapons and, character slots, essentially, for extra Warframes, and that's about it. So, I mean, I don't think it's really pay to win because it's like PvE anyway. So
No.
it's just for a bit of utility, really.
That's right, because everything, and that's one thing I think, in a way, they have done the microtransactions right, where it's like they haven't really locked any of the good stuff behind a microtransaction wall. You can essentially get everything you can in game. I think, apart from there are certain cosmetics and, like, say, colours
definitely
and paint.
cosmetics, yeah, like bits and bobs you can put onto your Warframe. Definitely, that's
that's fine because it's cosmetic. It's not affecting gameplay, so that's
but I think
okay.
you can get them anyway. You can actually get them dropped, as a matter of fact. Anyway, I'm quite certain of a lot of things.
Well, if you can, that's even better because, like I say, it is something that anything that you can buy, you can make in game. You can earn it if you're willing to put a little bit of time in. So I think if you were to actually get a blueprint and unlock a new Warframe, you actually have to find 3 other additional blueprints to actually build. So there could be like the systems, the chassis, and something else. The optics, yeah. So once you actually have those 3 components, you can then build the overall frame and actually start to finish to do that. I think even just once you've got all the parts,
hours.
each part will take about 12 hours.
Yeah, 12 or 24
so it can
hours.
take up to like 3 days.
Yeah.
I think it was 12 hours to build the individual parts, but once you've got all 3 parts, it's like 24 hours or 3 days, something like that, for the final product. So it does put a bit there. That's where also the microtransactions come in, is you can speed that process up if you want to.
Yeah.
But I did sort of see one review, which I kind of do agree with, where they sort of said it kind of having that time, it's not too long, it's not too short, but it does give you something to come back for. So you can put it down for like a day and come back the next or the day after. And it's like, I've got something new to come back to, which I think is quite enticing. That sort of keeps bringing me back. So I've got stuff building at the moment, which I've probably done. And I'm looking forward to actually getting on, unlocking it and going, all right, what new toy have I got to play around with at the moment?
And also it's like each Warframe's more like it's like a class. It's like a whole new class, really. Like you've got different abilities and things of this nature. So, Brett, have you played it? Did you play it, Brett?
I played a couple of hours.
Haven't
really hooked me because Battlefield 1 has released a new DLC, and I started playing that and got into that instead. So haven't really...
The historical game. The real historical
simulator.
game.
Fog simulator?
That was fun with the blimps and
I was looking at some of the reviews here. For Warframe. So it says like Destiny, but they actually care, which is good. This game is incredible. It's starting to take hours of my life away. My girlfriend questions our relationship. I've gained over 10 pounds just by sitting down and eating chips playing this game. But besides the deep, dark depression this game has given me, I rate this game 9 out of 10.
Yeah, it's quite fun. It seems to have a lot of people very much hooked, which I enjoy.
Funny. And then another guy just says bad game, and then he gives it a positive.
He's also like 900 hours or something, 170 hours. That guy that gave that bad game review, but still gave it
bad game.
Yeah,
positive review. Like I'm into
Chris, have you returned to Destiny 2 at all after playing this? Chris?
No, I actually haven't. I was trying to think there for a second. I haven't actually gone back to it. I haven't actually.
I love shooting shit in Destiny 2. It's a lot of fun to play. I would play it if it didn't crash every 5 minutes.
That's because your computer sucks.
No, I don't think it is because it runs like with
You're the only
most
person
things
on the planet who has that problem.
No, that's not true, Brett. That is not true. I've done the research. You guys nearly tricked me into spending thousands of dollars. I could have still had the same fucking issue.
No, we weren't tricking. You'll still be.
I'm just joking. I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. But I think even then,
the people in third world countries having the same problems, but the specs on the computer.
there is issues with Destiny. Like a lot of people seem really annoyed at the fact that it is you pay to play this game. You pay $80 or whatever it is, and it seems like once you get to the end game, it's all about bright engrams because you get like random, weekly rewards anyway, slightly better gear. So there's no real need to do anything specific. It's just grinding for bright engrams. And basically the way the system's geared is fucking, you're meant to, you're meant to use real money to unlock the bright engrams, which is, I don't know. I think a lot of people are quite annoyed about that.
It doesn't have, because, there isn't much of an end game at this point. But once again, I think this also comes back to how Destiny 1 was like. That's what...
If you looked at sorry, Chris, and I'm sort of yelling over the top of you, but if you looked at the amount of items that came out with the Curse of Osiris, I think it's like 75% of them. I don't have the exact figures off the top of my head, but I think a large majority of them were accessible only through bright engrams. So, the vast majority of actual extra items, that it might just be aesthetic items, are coming through bright engrams, which are the most efficient ways to buy them. So it seems that, I don't know, a lot of people are variant. There's a lot of negative sentiment towards Destiny 2, I've noticed. Just in my moving from, in sort of researching Warframe, I was watching a lot of videos of people going, why I'm playing Warframe over Destiny 2, which was interesting.
Which also quite interesting, considering like Warframe is actually, it's released in 2013. So it's 4 years old and is still running pretty solid. And they also released their expansion earlier this year, the Plains of Eidolon. So it's still something that's going pretty strong, that's for sure.
The interesting thing is, it's kind of like, it is an interesting comparison, because a lot of people have sort of said, like, they shouldn't have released Destiny 2. It should just be Destiny with all the extra, with all the work that's gone into the original. It should just remain Destiny, and it should keep building and building and building and getting better and better over time. Whereas that's exactly what's happened with Warframe. It has just built and built over time. Where Destiny 2's come out with a bunch of issues, that were repeats from the original release. So a lot of people have sort of pointed out the issues with Destiny 2 sort of avoided through Warframe, improving over time.
Yeah. I could definitely see that, because I guess, like you say, between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, it's essentially the same mechanics, just nicer graphics because it's on PC now, and some new baddies essentially. But with Warframe, when it was sort of releasing over the sort of last sort of 4 years, the design, I think I last played Warframe well before Plains of Eidolon came out, and it's actually a very, for some people, if you don't put the time into maybe learning Warframe, you probably won't enjoy it, because there's actually a lot of complexity to it, and you need to really do some research into how to figure out how to play it properly. Now, Warframe, the missions were very much, one thing I like about the missions is they're quite short, so you can actually click one and go and do it, and you're done in 5 to 10 minutes. So if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of time, you come home, bang out a couple of missions, and you're good. But that was kind of it. It was very repetitive. Then when Plains of Eidolon came out, this is now an expansion. It's not like Warframe 2, it's an expansion. And this is what I think they've done better than Bungie and Destiny, they didn't just add new missions. They made a certain area of Earth completely open world. So it really then broadened out and expanded the sort of gameplay and mechanics. One of the really cool things is the movement and the combat system in Warframe is a ton of fun. It's really fast paced. You can combine a whole bunch of different moves, and this is where the cyborg ninja, space ninja stuff really comes into it, because you can run, you can then slide, you can jump, you can somersault, you can run up walls, you can run along the wall, so it's not just vertical, it's horizontal. If you could double jump in the air, hit sprint, and you can actually roll in the air and continue to move forward, bring out melee weapons. So there's a whole fast-paced, fluid movement mechanic in this game, and bringing out Plains of Eidolon, where it's completely open world, I think really captures that free-flowing essence to like an even bigger degree. And I think that's where Warframe did a lot better than Destiny in terms of expansion versus sequel.
But if they just, with Destiny, if they just like released it as expansions or DLCs, like they wouldn't have made as much money as releasing a new game. That's it. That's why they've done it.
Well, Warframe, it's all free. It's the expansion.
No, that's what I'm saying with Destiny. That's why they've done it that way, because it's like there's more money in it to release a new game and then have a bunch of DLCs rather than just continue expanding.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, like I said, we've had this come up in the previous episodes with Destiny, and I've sort of mentioned before with Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. Destiny 1 didn't really get good until the third expansion. It got better with each expansion because like, oh, look, we expanded it and we're doing and adding more. And then with Destiny 2, like it went back to what Destiny 1 was like as a base game. And now that Curse of Osiris has come out, it's added new things, and then the same will be again with the next expansion. And I bet you when Destiny 3 comes out, because there's a 10-year plan for Bungie, and it's meant to be a trilogy. So when Destiny 3 comes out, I could bet you that the base game will refer back to what Destiny 2 and Destiny 1 were like when they first released. And when the subsequent or further expansions come out, it'll basically get better again. So I reckon that'll be just their method and their flow. But maybe people won't be as attracted to Destiny 3 after what Destiny 2 has
there seems to be a lot of negative sentiment, about a lot of people like ranting and raving for half an hour, sort of people just really emotional about, betrayal.
I don't think it's worth getting too worked up about.
I think that brings us to a good segue. This is a lovely segue to our next. Speaking of betrayal, disappointment, absolute, disgust, and minimizing of characters to things that they aren't, and stamping dreams into the dirt and mud, and in pursuit of profits from a new generation. I think that's a perfect segue.
Yay.
Yeah. Santa is coming, guys.
Star Wars. Shame.
How'd you know he was talking about that? You said it was your favorite movie of the year, Chris.
I did not say that. No, I did not say that.
I must have heard you.
No, I think you did. I think you must have misheard or misread what I typed. No, okay, so, Star Wars. It's a shame Grax isn't here because he is the Star Wars guy. So I think when he's back in the new year,
I like Star Wars. I'm pretty religious with Star Wars, to be honest. Like it's a large component of my life.
Yeah, but you see, when you say that, you say, hey, I like it. See, when Grax says it, it's like, oh, yeah, you can tell, like, you're a Star Wars guy.
I think it's a different relationship.
I'm only joking.
No, listen. Like, I had, like, I won't just, like, oh, yeah, I'm happy to watch it. Oh, yeah, great. It's so fun and great that there's a new movie out. I have emotional issues. Like I was racked with anxiety before I went to see it. Like I can't, because it's not a healthy relationship. I'm like a football. I'm like, those football fanatics who like can't watch a game without vomiting because they're that nervous about their team losing. I'm like that. I'm like, oh my God, I can't even watch it. It's too intense. It's just, I can't deal with it because, well, I don't know. And I've been a wreck ever since I watched it. I'm literally
I've become obsessed. I've become obsessed with researching it, reading reviews, watching videos. I was watching all the special edition videos versus the original ones today. So I've just become completely obsessed with Star Wars in general.
Before we do go further, just in case, like if you are that one person in the world that hasn't watched Star Wars, stop listening and come back to us. Go watch it and then come back to us, or maybe not. Up to you, because there will be probably spoilers in this discussion. Yeah. There's no way we can discuss The Last Jedi without talking about the main points. So heads up, there will be spoilers.
There's not that much to spoil, really.
Yeah. If you watch the movie, the movie itself is fucking spoiled.
Just a heads up. Anyway, so Michael,
the spoiler is the movie itself spoiling Star Wars.
Yeah, the movies. The spoiler. Yeah, the original and the prequel trilogy are now ruined by this horrific monstrosity.
I don't think I really ruined the prequels. I don't think you ruined them.
Look, I've been rewatching them this week, and I like them. At least they have a soul. They have a soul. They have They have a coherent vision from a single person. They're not some evil machination designed to milk the general public for the next 20 years. So I don't know. What's the worst thing? What's the worst thing about this movie?
All right. So let's start with let's start with the dumbest scene.
The Leia flying
straight away. It's Leia space. Super Leia.
Yeah.
Super Leia.
So they had a good opportunity where it was like a great scene, and they could have she could have died there, and that would have been fine. And it was also the fact that Kylo Ren decided not to shoot, basically, as he was like he was aiming at her, and he could have killed her, and he didn't. And then his little mates did it, obviously, anyway. But then because she didn't die anyway, that just completely destroyed that scene. And I think that there's a lot of scenes in this movie where it's like kind of good, and then they just ruin it with something with the follow up, or they sort of invalidate the scene. And
well, I mean, one of the most annoying things was like all the setup from the previous one was sort of wiped away. Not even the setup. I mean, the most sacrilegious thing was destroying Luke Skywalker, but we'll talk about that later. But I mean, all the setup from the setup from the previous movie was sort of wiped away, and a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but it's a new vision, you need to go with it, and and then they keep quoting like Kylo Ren going, oh yeah, you need to let the past die, like burn it if you have to, or whatever he says. But even that's a load of shit, because in that last episode, episode 7, Kylo Ren was obsessed with Darth Vader. Like he was obsessed with the past, and now suddenly, without any explanation, without any change in his character, without any reason or motivation for changing, he just pivots on the issue and goes, oh, by the way, no, I've forgotten about Darth Vader, I don't even care about that anymore, and I'm going to pursue this new thing. And that was all the time. Everyone's like, oh no, it's so bold, it's amazing, it's a new direction. No, bullshit. The guy just like decided to just forget everything and drop the ball and move forward in his own direction and completely forget about everything else. So, the fact that, Kylo Ren no longer obsesses about Darth Vader, that's done and dusted. The Knights of Ren, that just disappeared off the face of the earth. I mean, Snoke was a joke. What was the purpose of that? It could have just been a black ball just sitting. I mean, it's just so stupid.
Yeah, I think with like Snoke, like he could have, because he's gone, and it's like now there's no real threat. Like I don't feel like Kylo Ren's enough of a threat in the next episode. So you kind of left like you sort of left empty, where it's like, well, I don't care now. Like I don't really care what happens to anyone.
Yeah, that's because he's kind of when I asked you how did it go, because I was like, I read all the spoilers and I think I'm going to hate it. How did you find the movie? And you're like, I don't care. And that's what I felt after. I was like, I don't care. I don't want to watch the next one because I don't care who wins or loses. It's like nothing could save it at this point. It's like, oh, they're just floating about in space, these people that I don't even care about anymore.
Yeah, they sort of took all the plot points and all the interesting character developments and sort of just purged them all, basically. And it's like they slash and burned everything, but they didn't set up anything else new. So it's like it just like brought the movie to a grinding, the series of movies or everything just to a grinding halt, and there's just nothing really interesting going on anymore. And
there was. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Oh, there was just so. I feel like there was. Just quickly. There was so many cool scenes and cool things that could have happened. It could have gone in so many interesting directions, but they just didn't. They just fucking didn't do anything.
I mean, there is, I guess, one of the biggest things that people sort of having said that they're not happy with is obviously Rey's parents, sort of, and her heritage. Now, I'm personally of the mindset when they sort of said, your parents were nobodies. I personally think that's just Kylo trying to sort of convert her. I still think there's still a part to play because that just seems sort of too. It does well. Okay,
I think you're just looking for something, Chris, that's not there.
Look, I want to have a little bit of hope, maybe a refreshed new hope.
All right. Chris. So this is the
next one.
This is the issue here. So basically, I've heard that basically Rey's the idea of Rey's parentage wasn't officially locked in place by the last director, J.J. Abrams. He said, no, well, I'm going to leave it up to the next director. And now this director's go, well, I'll pass it on to the next director. So that's the issue. So it's like, no, we don't actually care about these fucking characters. Like, whatever happens, happens. Yeah. Money. We don't have an intricate sort of story planned out. It's just whatever happens in the moment, and we can retcon it later and whatever. And that's the thing. It's like, oh, well, I don't care. If you guys don't fucking care, how can I care if you don't care? If you don't even care about who her parents are, then you've misunderstood Star Wars because it's meant to be a family drama. You've completely misunderstood what you're dealing with here. And secondly, well, if you don't care, why should we care? Well, the reason is
I did actually,
people who care.
Yeah,
it's millions of dollars.
It's going to fall back on JJ to figure this one out now because he's coming back for episode 9. But I did
He's
read.
gonna come back. He's like, "What the fuck have you done? What have you done to the movie? I set all these things up for you, and you fucking cut all of them down, and now I've got nothing to work with. You fucking idiot! You've totally ruined this."
And also, the
I
issue is like J.J. Abrams is like notorious for he's good at setting up mysteries, but not for actually resolving them. So, what are we going to have another set of mysteries in the last movie in the trilogy? And what then it ends with a million new questions? Is that what's going to happen?
Actually, before I go into who knows? I mean, if it's anything like the first one, hopefully he's wise enough to realize, hang on, this is the final episode, so it has to be wrapped up in some particular way, and you can't leave it open ended, unless. Who knows? Unless Mickey Mouse says otherwise.
They want to keep making more movies, so they just be like, "Yeah, guess what? There's another 12 coming soon."
But they are like Rian Johnson's been given a contract from Disney to do another trilogy, like in Star Wars. But like, no one knows what it's going to be about. The speculation is it's going to be completely separate, away from Skywalker, the family. It could be just like another part of the universe, but it's just within the Star Wars universe. But just before we do sort of move on to other parts of it, there was I just wanted to bring it up because I found a funny / interesting theory as to who's Rey's parents could be. And this is, I seriously doubt this is it. I just thought it was funny. But do you remember, like, I guess in the movie in The Force Awakens, you've got Luke Skywalker's lightsaber and in Maz Kanata's little cantina. And one of the things that sort of came up was questions like, oh, where did this, what happened to this? And, it's been gone for so long. It's been missing and we found it. Does anyone ever remember the last time we saw Luke's lightsaber?
It fell down.
Empire Strikes Back.
It fell down the hole in
Bespin.
Bespin.
Blue one.
Yeah, Darth Vader cut his hand off.
It fell down that giant hole in Bespin.
That's right, it did.
And
so the lightsaber has now miraculously appeared, and Maz Kanata has it. Now, his hand was attached to that, and the universe of Star Wars has proven that they have perfected the cloning process. So the theory is Rey is a clone of Luke Skywalker.
I like that.
Taken from the DNA of Luke's hand.
That's quite cool.
Presumably, if you've found Luke's lightsaber, you probably found his hand that was attached to it.
Sorry,
So
a clone that looks clone that looks totally different and is a woman and isn't a clone at all.
DNA manipulation.
A clone is generally a copy.
There's a copy.
No, but the Caminos. Okay,
it's
the
Star
Caminos.
Wars. They've got money.
The Caminos can they can alter like the genetic code. Like all the clone troopers were like altered. They did come from Jango Fett, but they were like altered significantly, so they could change it. Like they could make a clone of Luke, and I quite like that.
Obviously behaviorally altered because they were just drones, essentially just following orders. Where Jango was a free person.
Yeah, exactly. And
there you go.
a bounty hunter
It certainly would have been a lot more interesting than no one.
And then it's like, I think they're kind of relatively committed to it being no one because they're like, oh yeah, it needs to be not about the Skywalker. I don't know why it doesn't. Or I don't understand why that is the case. But okay, it needs to be other people in this galaxy that apparently have the Force. But I don't think that's important. I think it should be a family drama because that's the main appeal of this whole thing. So there's that. But then a lot of people say that originally Luke was no one. Luke was just a farmer and he had the Force and he could be anyone out there. But that isn't true because Luke was always involved in this because his dad, according to Obi-Wan Kenobi, was killed by Darth Vader. So he always had some sort of familial relationship with a greater conflict. And so if Rey's absolutely no one, then they have misunderstood the entire genre, I would say.
Yeah, but Michael, maybe her midichlorian count's really high somehow. So, let's
maybe go back a step further with Anakin. Who was Anakin's parents?
He was.
He's
Space Jesus. He's Space Jesus. In the original extended canon, basically, Darth Plagueis and Darth Sidious did this Force ritual, and somehow this being of pure Force energy ended up in his mother's womb.
So for those who may not be Star Wars savvy in terms of that far back in terms of history, Darth Sidious being the Emperor that we all know from episodes 4, 5, and 6. Darth Plagueis.
Darth Plagueis is his master.
His master.
Yeah, who was
just in case.
a Mun, which is like this kind of looks a bit like a tall grey sort of creature. He was.
So they
Mun.
basically played. Sorry, before I cut you off, they were doing what with whose womb?
They did like a. So they were mucking around like. Darth Plagueis' master was like.
Muck around.
They were
drunk, and they're like, let's see what we can do with this thing.
Yeah, like using the Force.
It's like, hey, we're drunk. Do you remember that part in the Bible? Woo!
They were
Just
like
do
using
that.
the Force to like bring people back from the dead and mucking around with this.
Yeah.
And they were like really, there was only ever 2 Sith, and they were really secretive. And this all stems back from Darth. What's his name? Darth. Fucking the coolest Sith is Darth. Darth Bane,
Malik?
who he basically
Bane.
Darth Bane. Darth Bane. I'm pretty sure it's Darth Bane. He was like this like minor dude, and there was these like Sith versus the Jedi, and there was heaps of Sith, and there was heaps of Jedi, and they were always at each other's throat. And Darth Bane basically like joined the Sith, but he was like not that cool with the Sith, and he ended up like killing all of them apart from one of them, and he was like this evil anti-Sith who like then he started the whole rule of 2, so that's why there's only ever 2 Sith. Anyway, so you have Darth Plagueis and Darth Sidious do this like Force ritual, and apparently this is in the extended canon, which is no longer canon. They did this ritual and made a being of pure Force and light energy, and that's Anakin Skywalker. Now, in the actual canon, as it stands, his mother says Immaculate Conception, that he just was in her womb one day. That's how he came into existence.
So he was
she
Space
could
Jesus.
fly, she could, but yeah, Space Jesus, essentially. Space Jesus.
So who's Moses then, if he's Jesus?
Well, Moses, I suppose, would be Darth Sidious, I suppose, in a way. Well, actually, I'm not too sure about that.
Sure, why not?
It depends on if you think
That
the
doesn't
ritual
matter.
happened or not.
It doesn't-
If the ritual is canon or not, then he's maybe Moses. But you're being facetious anyway, and I'm trying to answer seriously. I don't know why. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I feel like if you're going to do a comparison, then every character in the Bible has to be assigned a Star Wars reference.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just stupid if Rey's no one. I mean, I just
is nobody.
It's
Yeah,
boring.
there needs to be something behind it.
and that's the
Yeah,
thing. It's
it's-
boring, and it's not.
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like the reason for that is because, like, the scene at the end. There's like another horrible scene where there's that stupid kid where he like pulls the broom towards him. And it's like, who's that
the
kid?
people
And then
that-
he's got the Force as well. And then it's like, so is that sort of? So it's like anyone can have the Force, and then they sort of do that because they want kids to like buy the products and think, oh, I could have the Force, and it's mainly like to sell products.
No, I think the reason they're doing it is like,
That's my
well,
theory on it.
well, we have another, we have another Star Wars trilogy set 100 years later, and if anyone can have the Force, here's John Bodogi, and he has the Force, and here's Susie Plogox, and she has the Force. It's just so you can pull anyone and go, oh, they have the Force. It doesn't matter. It's not some mystical thing. It's just whoever has it, and that's that. And now we can make 1 billion movies for the rest of eternity because, I don't know, it's in the canon now because a kid with a broom looked at the fucking
But I
space.
suppose, but that was always the point. Like anyone could have the Force. It was just
No, it wasn't.
That's canon.
First.
No, that's canon anyway. Because think about all the Jedi's and stuff, like in the early
Yeah, where do they all
movies.
come
They do. And they explained it with the midichlorians. Like that is canon that anyone can have the Force.
Yeah.
So
not in
does
the
make-
original.
It wasn't like, there was one person like Space Jesus that would have it and he would go, you got the Force, fuck you, Jimmy, you got the Force, and then just like hands it out to people. No, it's people who had it. And
Why
then,
doesn't Jimmy get it?
Well, but then it did get
fuck
sort of
Jimmy.
stomped out in the days of the Empire because obviously Palpatine didn't encourage that and sort of tried to stamp anyone with any Force sensitivity. Which, I don't know, it doesn't really appear to me that the New World Order have any motivation to do that. But it's still people are not popping up with the Force, so I don't know. I mean, I just don't understand why we start.
You want to go over
I don't know why we started episode 7 where it's not. We killed the Empire 5 minutes ago. Next episode. By the way, this isn't the Empire. It just looks like a lot like the Empire, but it isn't, and we're just going to keep doing this again for some reason. you know what I mean? It's very neck jerking.
Yeah. I know another thing people have sort of said about The Last Jedi is with obviously it was the whole race, and I was like, oh, they're getting away, quick, keep shooting, they're escaping.
What
and
race?
People are like, they're like it was like the slower. Sorry, Getaway.
The Battlestar Galactica, the Battlestar Galactica plot.
I want to go to
the ship's slightly out of range.
Yeah.
And for some reason now, way more advanced ships can't catch up.
Yeah, and they're sort of saying like, this is the slowest getaway of all time. Wouldn't ships of that size with engines that size actually technically be going like really quickly? It just looks really slow in space.
Yeah,
like it would actually be a fast.
Also,
getaway,
if they have engines, like they would keep accelerating because in space,
yeah,
like,
that's
inertia.
Yeah. So like even you could fuel consumption, turn the engines off and just let yourself float. You will stay at the same speed.
Yeah, that would be the real concern, wouldn't it? Because it would be like, once you run out of fuel, like you would never stop. You would have to float through a space for all eternity until you died.
Yeah,
there's other, like they were able to hyperspace. They were able to hyperspace into where those ships are, but just slightly out of range. So why don't you just like leave and come back and just hyperspace in slightly closer? Like surely they could do that, or some of the other ships could have hyperspaced out and then cut and hyperspaced in front of the other ship and stopped it.
Well, why don't you
you've got a whole fleet there. Why don't you do that?
Why don't you just kamikaze the escape pods into the First Order fleet, because that just blows everything up? Why wouldn't you just put a drone into that and go catch you later, bam? Because that destroys everything now.
Don't you feel like a lot of the writing was like really lazy? Like there's just so many plot holes, and like it just wasn't like tight in any way. Like it's just that whole thing. Like also First Order, like they would have had ships all over the place. Like that wasn't their whole fleet. Like why didn't they just call in some other ships?
Well, we have no idea because there's no establishment of the setting. You have no idea how many ships this First Order has. You have no idea how much control they have. It's completely unclear.
They have more than those ones when they've got those massive dreadnoughts.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We don't know. Like it's unclear. We don't know how much power they have. It just says, oh, they apparently rule the galaxy, but I see no evidence of that. It's just some guy in a robe and
like the Empire.
Hux running the whole thing. As funny as I find Hux, I don't really understand how he runs a government.
why can't and also why can like one X-wing pretty much destroy an entire dreadnought like on its own?
Well, the reasoning on that was because the dreadnought's guns are so big. And
it doesn't have
really
shields
small.
or something? Like, surely they would have thought of that. Like, they're like, oh, these X-Wings, got to look out for them. Like, they've taken out Death Stars and stuff before.
Okay, so
maybe we should put some shields on the ship. No, fuck it, I'm sure.
We've got here's our most expensive ship ever, right? What does the other team use? Well, they mostly use X-Wings. All right, well, let's just make sure our defense is completely open to the ship that the other side has the most of. That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, but it's a big ship. It's got to have big guns. I don't care about those small ships.
Yeah, well, wasn't it in The Force Awakens where the Falcon and Han and Chewie, they all sort of like came flying into the what was the name of the big planet? Death Planet? What was it called?
Starkiller Base.
Starkiller Base. So to get in, they had to get through the shields. They had to go at a particular speed, and that's why when they entered Starkiller Base. The Poe in then the next one has used the same tactic. That's why when he was talking, he dropped his wings and took off at whatever speed, and that's how he got through the shields.
Oh, well, I mean, I couldn't even work out what's going on for half the movie anyway. That's the only link between Force Awakens and The Last Jedi is how Poe got past the shields of the Dreadnought. That's the only link. Everything else.
What about the bombers? What about the bombers that they send in, like 20 bombers, and then for some reason, like there's gravity in space, and they have to drop those bombs, and then all of them get destroyed except one, and then one little bomber takes out the entire massive, 10-kilometer long Dreadnought.
Well, they probably only needed one, but they needed a lot because
why don't they just why don't they just fire the bombs at it directly from the ship? Why do they have to like get in close with bombers? Like, it's really
fire
stupid.
them.
Like,
drop hundreds of bombs.
Yeah, just fire them from the ships. Like, it's a really inefficient way of doing it. So
let's kill like
100 people.
Why don't you just put a droid into a ship and then hyperspace into it? Because that works really well.
Well, that's the most obvious one. That's just the fact that like you can just hyperspace through things.
It was a good looking scene.
It was a great scene. It was really cool, but it just...
You can hyperspace through the Death Star. You can hyperspace through everything. Like, you don't even need a Death Star. Why don't you just hyperspace through a fucking planet? Like, why didn't the Empire just do that? Oh, we'll just hyperspace through a planet. rather than build his Astar.
all these,
I wonder how
all
big
these new military tactics.
the ship might have to be really big though to work for it to work on a planet. Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Unless you go straight through the core. So the other big one is Luke is dead. So Luke has died. Well, he's
Committed
one
suicide.
with
He
the
decided, I
Force.
can't be bothered with this, and just wandered off. Brilliant. That was really a great end to one of my.
See, I feel like they didn't do it justice because it's like he projected himself, so he's like projected, and that was kind of cool. But then the fact that he just died anyway kind of totally took away from that scene.
Yeah.
You know, the same as they did with like Leia and stuff. They just
that's
they have
a-
these
that's a
cool
good point,
scenes
actually.
where
like it'd be cool if he went there and fought and died, but they're just like, oh yeah, he's projecting, so he can't die. He'll stay safe. But he's like, well, no, I projected and now I have to die. Well, okay,
and
why
I'm
didn't he
dead
just go there?
anyway? He should have
Why
gone there
didn't he
because
just
remember they
go
had
there?
that shot of the remember that shot of his X-wing that was like in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
that would have been cool. It's he could have pulled the X-wing out and like flew over there in the X-wing. Like that
You
would
know when
so
they had
cool.
that electronic door ram and they were trying to like get up into the middle of it to blow it up. I thought that was going to be Luke's
weapon.
Comes into the X-wing and shoots a torpedo into it. Yeah, and I thought, oh hey, he's going to do a New Hope and tunnel run and shoot it out, and that was going to be his big grand entry.
And another thing with Luke is as well. He's like, he went to that island, like in the Force Awakens. Like, didn't he leave a map or something how to get to him? But then, like when she got there, he's like, "Oh no, I don't want to see you ever again. How did you find me?" It's like, I used the fucking map that you left me. It's totally contradicting himself.
And also, like, if you remember back to episode 7, like, it's this big thing, like, we're going to find the map to Luke. And then, we're going to get it to R2-D2. Oh, R2-D2 doesn't work. Oh, well, what a bummer. Well, I guess we'll just, that's that. And we'll go and blow up this other thing. And then once we blow that up, R2-D2 just turns on. Oh, okay, cool. R2-D2 turns on for no reason whatsoever. He just turns on. And now we have a map. Cool, to Luke. So that was dumb.
Yeah, there's so much like it's like convenient writing where they just gloss over so many things. It's just plot hole after plot hole after plot hole. And the another one is the the purple headed captain or the admiral, whatever she was. Like this is a pretty obvious one. Why didn't she just tell Poe what she was doing instead of going, no, I'm not telling you. We're basically just going to keep going along here and just die and kill ourselves. So then Poe, of course, goes off on his own mission, totally pointless mission. And ended up getting loads of people killed.
Because he had to,
whereas if she just told him that, you know what I mean, like that would have been fine, and then he wouldn't have done that.
Because he had to learn.
I think the theory, the current theory on Reddit for that one is that because they have obviously understood that the First Order were tracking them through light space, the first thought is there's a traitor. Light speed, hyperspace. I think I got light speed and hyperspace mixed together. That there was a trader on board the ship, and then Holdo revealing, a trader selling them
an armed trader.
Selling stuff.
No, a traitor.
Traitor. So you said
Yes.
trader. It's like
No, I didn't. I actually didn't.
Trader Joe. Weird.
So there was a traitor.
I see.
On board, giving the location of where traitor.
Oh, okay. So she
given the
couldn't
location.
tell anyone what was happening.
So that's why she was being all funny about it, which is why then I think when I was watching, I thought she was the traitor, because she was like being so blasé. But
that
turns out
that actually would have been a really cool plot twist and would have made the movie a lot more interesting as
if
well.
she was the traitor. Cool. So anyway, a lot of bad things to say about the movie.
Are there
Unfortunately,
any good things? Should we say anything good about it?
Yeah, I like the bit.
things blew up.
I like the bit with the red dust. That was quite cool. The red dust is quite cool.
Yeah, the
Hoth,
visuals
it was like Hoth, basically.
Yeah, but red dust.
That's it.
Red salt.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
It was red
It's
salt.
like, guys, this isn't Hoth. See the red stuff?
It's red salt dust. That was kind of cool. That was about it. Oh, the bit where Hux.
I kind of thought like
that was quite funny. That's the two bits of the movie.
What was that,
think,
Michael? You broke up.
Oh, when Hux wanted, like, when Kylo was like passed out and Hux was like going to just shoot him. That was quite funny. But that's about it. Do you know the bit where? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh no, because you keep breaking up. Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm probably probably at the end of my tether. The bit where did you hear that?
Yep. Yeah.
Kylo Ren was passed out, and then Hux.
Yeah.
passed out and he was going to shoot him, but didn't because he woke up.
That was funny.
Golden opportunity there. That was funny.
What about where he like smashed him into the control panel?
That was good.
That was fucking awesome.
like
that was the best scene in the whole movie, I reckon. I like those two. They're like the original Odd Couple.
Yeah,
They
it's like a
have,
comedy duo.
Funny adventures.
Yeah.
That would be a really good spin-off. Like
Yeah,
the adventures of Hux and Kylo, and they go around
How
and
good would that be? Like,
get into massive arguments and that'd be awesome because I think they have good chemistry.
yeah.
those
So
two.
Kylo just kills everyone, and they're in charge of the whole galaxy, and it's just Kylo and Hux like funny adventures ruling the galaxy. How good would that be?
Yeah,
You see them like
yeah.
jogging or sort of skipping down the road and jumping there, clicking their heels
It would be funny.
together.
All right,
holding hands,
that's that'd be fun.
forever.
And just randomly, Kylo freaks out and just like punches him in the face.
Yeah, that's something to look forward
Anyway,
to.
so there you go. So Star Wars last year.
wait. One more thing. Sorry, I have one more thing I have to go off my chest. The fact that like Snoke got killed so easily by Kylo when he's like literally going like, you know, he set that whole thing up to get Rey to come there and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'm controlling you. Like, I know exactly what you're going to do. I would know if you're going to betray me. And he's like, oh shit, you betrayed me. And it's just like, how did I not see that coming? How did he, this all-powerful being, like, not hear that lightsaber just, like, twisting next to him on his chair?
Yeah.
Feel free to stop banging your
Yeah.
mic.
Oh,
that
sorry,
noisy.
sorry about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I agree.
Right. So maybe
No, I
Kylo's a lot more powerful than we realized. But yeah. Anyway.
But guys,
so,
the movie has really good special effects and good battles. And if you're just, like, kind of looking at stuff without really thinking about it too deeply, then, yeah, fucking sweet.
yeah, if you like things that blow up and you don't want to follow a story, then cool.
Yeah.
So next up is the Control Alt Record quiz. This will be the
Oh, wow.
last one for the year. So Brett, you are the quiz master this episode.
I am.
How many questions do you have for us
Okay.
tonight?
I've got 7 questions. I think
Okay.
they're quality questions, odd number of questions, as we like to
Well
do.
done.
The theme for the quiz is going to be Star Wars.
Oh, I thought
Oh.
so. That's why I kept on asking you.
Yeah, I was like, how did he know? I actually feel like you showed such impressive knowledge there of Star Wars, Michael. I feel like these questions are fucking way too easy.
Well,
So this-
maybe. You
this-
never know.
This is going to be not that great, I don't think. But
Watch this 7-zip. If I get one, I'll be
don't
happy.
set it up like that. Don't jinx it like
So,
that.
so Michael's got knowledge. I've got Michael's lag on my side.
yeah, so Michael's really laggy. So I don't care. Like if Chris is later, like I'll hear him first. So Chris kind of has a handicap
All right,
because of your lag, Michael.
that works.
Well, it balances
I
out
don't know if
because
you
Michael
even
knows what he's
understand
talking
me
about.
saying anything. So yeah, I may just lose because
Yeah,
of
I
that.
just hear.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Okay. Question 1. Which of the following Star Wars films did George Lucas not direct?
Chris.
Okay. I haven't given the options yet, but go ahead.
Oh shit! It's multiple choice. Well, it's going to
Yeah. I said which of the following Star. So the following, meaning I'm going to say something, but no, you go
What
ahead.
are they? Well, Brett,
Awakens.
it's only the only ones.
No. I'm
He did-
going to give 3. Okay, so
He did
I'll
not
give you the
direct.
rest of the question.
He did not direct Empire Strikes Back and Episode
Okay.
7, and I think Episode. No, I think that's it. Maybe
Oh,
Episode 2.
all
All right, so what is your answer, Michael?
Okay, I want to hear the
You don't-
options.
you don't-
Oh,
Yeah, well, I feel
you
like
can't give all the answers. And then
Okay, well let's just reset.
I was going to give you the options, and you just decided to give the answer anyway, even though I would have given them to you.
Reset.
There's 4.
Let's-
There's okay. All right. Episode 4, A New Hope. That's one. Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, or Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
me, Michael.
Yes.
I'm pretty. Oh, hang on. Well, say that again. Oh, well, it must be Episode 6.
That's correct. It was
Damn it.
it was Richard
You had a 50-50
Marquand,
chance.
Marquand or something.
So of the original
'cause
trilogy, I think he co-directed that one though. I'm pretty sure.
No, 1, 2, and 3. He was the director for all of them. So that's why if you got number 6 wrong, I was going to have to go 4 by default and would have got it. But you got it right. So fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, you can wait for the full question. I know you always like to jump ahead, Chris, but it really fucks you up sometimes. But however you want to play it.
Next
All right,
question.
number 2. How many parsecs did the Millennium Falcon make the Kessel Run in? It's less than 12, less than 20, less than 42.
Michael. Oh, hang on.
Yes,
what did you say? Oh, it's under less than 12 parsecs.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
So
Which
it's
is
2 to
actually a
Michael.
measurement of what
Right.
God damn it.
distance. Which I've always
Yeah, that's- I know.
thought like that means that okay, people seem to think that parsecs is like he's done it really quickly. What I think he's actually done is he's got the most efficient route. Like he knows how to map out a really good route.
Yeah, because it's to do with. I thought it was like he's like navigating like an asteroid field.
Yeah, yeah. So he knows like the most
does it in 12
efficient.
parsecs.
Yeah, he knows the most efficient route through the field.
Yeah, that's why
Well,
I sort of.
who knows? Maybe in the Solo movie, they'll have that little bit that the Kessel runs. So
Of course they will.
I'm sure they will milk that, just like Luke milked that weird sea creature's breasts.
I actually kind of like that scene.
Yeah, it's so weird. It was so weird.
It's like
very weird.
It was like some absurdist humor.
Yeah. I was like, what the
All
fuck
right,
is
question 3. What planet did the Empire use the Death Star to destroy?
this? Michael.
Chris,
Heard Chris first.
Alderaan.
That's correct.
Well done.
So that's
Yeah, 2-1.
1 for Chris and 2 for Michael.
Good work,
All
Chris.
right, question 4. What was the name of Boba Fett's ship?
Michael.
Michael?
Slave 1, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's correct. So that's 3 to 1.
I think it's actually Slaver 1. I think that's
No, it's Slave 1. Definitely
Is it?
Slave
You
1.
sure?
Unlucky,
Yes,
Chris.
I'm really
You gave
sure.
that a crack, Chris? You gave it a go? Didn't work out.
Yeah, worth a shot.
Why did
Worth
you
a
think it
shot.
was Slaver 1?
I was just hoping for the best.
Chris loves slavery. Chris loves slavery.
What was I like? No, I made a mistake. I read the wrong thing. Okay. All right. Question 5. What animal did Han Solo slice open to keep Luke
Chris.
Skywalker? Yep.
Tom.
Oh, good work.
Correct.
Good work. I'd forgotten the
So
name.
that's,
Good work.
that's 3-2.
3-2.
Good work.
All right. All right. Question 6. What was Kylo Ren's previous name?
Michael.
Chris. Damn it.
Michael was first.
Ben Solo.
That's too easy.
Yeah, I know. I think all these questions are a little bit too easy. Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, that was easy.
So what are we up to? So you've basically
That's
won,
4-2.
but I'll give you the last one. Question 7 is who actually shot first?
Michael.
Michael?
I think. Oh well, I thought it's still open for debate.
Yeah, it is. That's a very open.
I thought I'd
was
throw in
either-
an annoying question.
That's
Probably
Well, I
Han
guess,
Solo.
what do you think of-
I assume it's Han Solo though.
Yeah, I would say Han.
the answer that I chose to be the correct answer.
is Greedo. That you chose to be the correct.
In the
Greedo.
1997 special edition, the scene was edited, so Greedo shot first. So that's what we're going to go
Ah.
with. Even though they changed it again. Actually, they changed it 2 more times since then, and now they shoot at the same time, I think.
All right, Chris. It was Greedo. Michael said Han, so
All right, so Michael wins that. I should put
That's pretty good though.
I think that a little bit. I wasn't sure of your Star. I knew you guys knew Star Wars, but I wasn't sure what level. So I would have gone way more harder if I knew, especially Michael.
Well, maybe next time when next episode when Grax is back, get some real doozies and see if you can find some real doozies just for fun, and maybe be the quiz master the first time everyone's back. And I think we'll see if Grax puts us to shame. He may do. That's it. That is the episode. That is all we have for you tonight. It is our final one for 2017. So we'll be back after a couple of weeks. We'll take a couple of weeks break. But of course, have a happy whatever it is that's a non-politically correct.
Non-politically correct.
season.
Non-politically correct. Brilliant.
yeah, non-PC.
Why not? Yeah, why not?
You just say happy
Rotary
holidays.
Festival.
Yes. Anyway, have fun. We'll see you in the new year. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.